Right, so I've got the back off the Range Rover Evoque front seat to investigate this. The heated seat's not working, and if you look at this wire that goes to the, I think there's a heater mat in the back of the seat here, and down here you can see, I don't know if there's much, I'll get a torch. Can you see there's some bare wires down there? That cable's been trapped under that little metal bracket down here, and it's sliced through the cables where my finger is. Let me just bring it up here. Can you see that? Don't know how well you can see that, but I think that's the cause of the heated seat not working. So I'm going to try and repair that and see if that does the trick. Alright, so I've stripped back the cables. It's pretty awkward access in there, but managed to do it with just a knife and 2 pairs of long nose pliers, and sort of strip back the insulation, and I've put a little bit of heat shrink onto, a bit like that, onto the cable. I've kind of pushed the wires together as best I can, brushed a little bit of flux onto the wire, and then I'm going to hopefully solder that up and then do the same on the other side. I did do a resistance check across the 2 wires going into the heater mat, and I had around about 1 ohm, which, doing a bit of research on YouTube, seems to be a roughly the right kind of resistance you're looking for on those heater mats. So fingers crossed it hasn't burnt the mat out or anything, and hopefully once these are soldered it'll work. Fingers crossed. So I'll let you know how I get on. Alright, some good news. I've soldered up those 2 cables, and it is by no means pretty. It's pretty ugly soldering, but it works. I plugged the cable back in to this plug down here, and it's working. So I'm chuffed about that. Easy fix, no money spent. I did make a bit of a boo-boo actually. Well, a couple of boo-boos actually. Firstly, because I had hardly any wire to play with here to solder, I fed the wire through this little opening to try and give it some stability while I was soldering. And then once I'd soldered one of the wires, I realised, due to the size of the plug, I can't actually get the wire. I can't actually get the plug back through that hole. So I'm just going to snip the wires here and use some solder sleeve type things to repair the wire. They're nice and easy to use, and I've got loads of space, so that's not a big deal. And also, if you see my heat shrink, sorry, the lights, I need to recharge my torch, but you see my heat shrink down there the heat of the soldering has shrunk my bits of heat shrink, so I can't now fit them over the solder because of the size of the clumps of solder on there. So when I cut these cables, I'm going to just put some bigger heat shrink on and sort of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I was just going to say, before I do snip the cables and use some solder sleeves here, I know you can de-pin plugs, and I've tried this. I've got a multitude of little tools to poke down these holes to try and de-pin this plug, but none of the ones I've got seem to do the job. I messed around with it for like half an hour, getting a bit frustrated, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip the wires and use the solder sleeves. It's not the most satisfying to have to do that, but it's going to get the job done, so I'm going to go for it. Okay. So I've just put some heat shrink onto these cables, and used the old cigarette lighter method just to melt the heat shrink and shrink it up. And I didn't set lights or anything. We've got a bit of melting on this bit of plastic here, but I don't think that's anything to be concerned about, so pretty happy with that. So I'm now going to use the solder sleeves on these couple of cables that I've chopped. Alright, I'm just getting this one ready to put the solder sleeve on. So it's all set up, ready to go. It doesn't matter which wire's which, I think, because it's literally just a heating element, so it doesn't matter which way the electricity goes through it. Yeah, so I'm just going to crack on and use the cigarette lighter on this. And a little bit of so you can use a heat gun, which would be the ideal method, but as long as the solder melts in the middle. Yep, there it goes. You can see it's just started to melt, and then you just finish it off by melting the rest of it, and it sort of creates a environmental seal, makes it waterproof, I think. Just get an even amount of heat over it. Yeah, that looks good. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to melt the insulation on the wire, but that looks like a good job, so I'll move on to the next one. Alright, so I finished putting the solder sleeves on. I wrapped the whole thing in electrical tape, and I've reconnected the plug, secured it with the little the tie wrap there, and I'm about ready just to double check it's all working okay. So before I put the back on the seat, just get in the front. Seat's a bit close to the steering wheel. I'll get started. I'm just gonna change the view to a bit of a wider angle. Hang on. Right, so let's put the foot on the brake, start the engine. Right. Okay. So, here's the button for the heated seats. Put them both on. Oh yeah, that's heating up nice and quick. So I think there's a heating pad in the base and heating pad in the back. And it's the one in the back that the wires had been chafed through, but yeah, that's warming up too. Yeah, the back heats up a bit slower than the front, but the front's toasty already. Just check with the other side. Yeah, Same on the other side. So the back, you don't get quite so much heat off the back, but it's looking good. Okay, so that's a fix. I'm chuffed with that. So turn those off. I'll show you actually. In the back of the car there is some fuses. So if maybe you haven't got a chafed wire, maybe it's just a blown fuse, or you've got a chafed wire and a blown fuse because the wires have touched and shorted out. So I'll just show you where that is quickly. Right, so inside the boot here, and a little panel off to the left hand side, and it'll be one of these 20 amp fuses here. I think we haven't got I think you can have heating and cooling, but we haven't got the cooling on this car, so we're looking at two 20 amp fuses here. So it's those two yellow ones. And also, I had checked these previously, and they're fine. Also, you've got heated seat relays here, which is another place you can check for problems. I could feel those hot. I mean, I haven't got one of these little relay breakout boxes to test relays, but I could feel that they were both getting hot. So I was pretty sure they were working, and I checked for some power in the back of the seat anyway when I first started. So I'm just going to button up the seat now, and then that will be the job finished. Alright, so we've tested it, it's all working okay. So I'm just going to put this all back together. So this little flap needs to hook over. This might be tricky with one hand. Cool. And then we're ready to put the back of the seat on. So we've got these little hooks that hook underneath the top here, and then there's a couple of little clips on the side that just clip in here, and then you just got these three poppers. So it's pretty simple to take apart once you know how it works. So I'm just going to pop that in. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to need, oh yeah, just shove it up like that. I think that's in. Yep, that was easier than I thought. And then underneath, so to remove this, you'd need to, just what I did was pull out these little popper things in the bottom, and then once they're out, just tug down on the rest of the seat back and it'll come out. So then all you got now to do is this little bit of carpet just hooks on underneath the seat and tidies it all up, and then I think we just tuck these bits of carpet under that flap. So I don't think I'm going to be able to film these little hooks. I'll have a go. That's a little bit awkward. Excuse the heavy breathing. Where did that hook in? Nearly pinged myself in the face. be easier. Alright. Yeah, I'm not really going to be able to film this, I don't think. I'll do this. I'll do that off camera, but those little plastic clips just hook on underneath the seat. When you take yours apart, you'll see exactly how it comes apart. So that's it. End of the video, I think. Hope it helps someone. Hope you learn from my mistakes. And yep, I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.